We are live. Trying to sort some shit out real quick so we can put like the chat on the stream. I know we don't have that much people in the chat these last few streams. I mean, yesterday was pretty good, but that way that we can just keep it on there. There we go. All right, so start your live stream. Pop out the chat window in YouTube Studio. Okay, so let me lock in real quick. The topic is the only stimulants you need in 2026 to get rich. Speaking of stimulants, we've already popped 150 for Arm and Daphne today. One black monster. I couldn't find any white ones. And then one of these, and then another one right now. 2 snus today, so using it only when we need it. I've actually used 3 snus, so.
Man with those laser beams.
All right, so we need to figure out how to do this shit real quick. Turn the music down a bit, lock in. We're trying to figure out how to put the chat on the live stream. So we started the live stream, step 1 complete. Step 2, pop out the chat window in YouTube Studio. So YouTube Studio, okay, it's right there. We're going to get that popped up. Pop out the chat. So let's click that. And then from there, we are going to copy the URL. So we need to find the URL for this chat. Excuse me. I've lost the fucking YouTube chat. It's gone. All right. Here it is. Copy the URL. Okay. Copy the URL. Check an OBS, add a browser source. Okay. Add a browser source. Checked. Okay. With the browser source, paste this URL and set the dimensions properly. Chat. Okay. Width. Hit me with those laser beams. How do you do the transparency? All right, let me. Oh, this is not good. I thought it was gonna be like cool, you know. This is not cool at all. Like this is like not what I was kind of hoping for. Is it? I thought it just had the text. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's try it. Hello. I'm gonna have to fucking research this. I mean, we can research it together because this is gonna be a very in-depth video on stimulants, and no one's gonna join for a little bit, so we have some time to kill. So, how to just Bro, this is still ugly. I just want like the text. You guys know what I'm saying, bruh? I mean, should we just say screw it or nah? Let's see. I mean, it's okay now, but still, it's not like ideal for like what we're trying to do here. Maybe here. But it's like kind of ugly. Maybe we can like crop it. I mean, I don't even know what to do. Can't even see it. I can't even see the chat. All right. Let's try. Let's chat GPT this shit. Indeed, Parker, we are Samoy maxing. And speaking of Parker, I was going to text you, but I didn't know if you were asleep or not. And the question is, if you're still here, can you send me the jet ski videos? I'm going to add them to the story, literally like right now. Because like in the stream, I can't really post anything on my story, so I'm just going to post the jet skis. If you can send that in the Google Drive through Telegram, that would be very kind of you, good sir. Let's see here. Fine, Parker, do you know how to add the chat box on the stream so it looks kind of cool, if you know what I mean? And guys, I went to church. It was pretty fun. Few baddies there. A good lesson. We did like the singing, the service. It was actually a pretty good service. It was like good timing. It was about betrayal. And as you guys know, I got betrayed a few months ago. And, you know, it was a pretty good sermon. You know, forgive and give it to God, you know. So, yeah, that went pretty well. And now we are back on the stream. We're going to be going over stimulants for 2026 to get rich. I've taken a few today, the modafinil, some coffee, nicotine, and you don't really need to overcomplicate it. It's just about the scheduling and the routine behind the stimulants that matter the most and how you wire your work to the stimulants, if that makes sense. Because with the stimulants, especially modafinil, it opens up your dopamine receptors and blasts dopamine in your brain. So what that means is if you start grinding in the wrong direction, you're going to want to grind in the wrong direction even more. For example, let's just say I go take a shit right now and I bring my phone in there and I start scrolling on Reels while I shit. Next thing you know, 30 to 40 minutes pass and I've just done absolutely nothing but sat there scrolling. So with great power comes a great responsibility. You've heard that from Uncle Ben from Spider-Man. And it's the exact same thing with the stimulants. So you want to be very mindful and aware of how you use them. And later on in the stream, I'm going to be going over exactly how I schedule them out and what I tie each stimulant to. And yeah, modafinil maxing, Jake already knows. He's the guy who opened up my world to modafinil. It was the very first time in Dubai. I think it was like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. We were smoking shisha at this restaurant. I remember it just like it was yesterday. Very beautiful story. So me and my friend Alex, we wanted to start and build our own course, our own offer, because like I was closing, he was doing fitness coaching or something, and we wanted to like create our own offer. So, you know, it was very late. We had, I think maybe 1 or 2 days left in Dubai. And then Jake was telling us about this thing called modafinil. And I was, to be honest, I was a bit of a pussy. I was kind of scared. I was like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I die? And Jake was like, bro, you're not going to die. So he gives Alex and I don't know if we took a full or a half. I don't remember. I think I took a half or maybe a full because it was my first time. Like, I don't see why I wouldn't take a full if I were to do it. And with that one night of taking it from 9 p.m. until dawn, me and Alex created our entire course in that night, our entire offer A to Z, literally right there. And that was the most locked in I've ever been in my entire life. We spent like 8 or 9 hours creating our courses, our offers, and everything in between. And it was just such an eye-opener, just unlimited energy, no distractions, one task after the other, never getting tired, never getting lazy, never watching a reel, just being completely dialed in. And ever since that day, we've been completely hooked. Now, of course, we have taken tolerance breaks. Like I've been like months and months without it, sometimes weeks and weeks. But now I'm at the point where I figured out the perfect dose, the perfect routine, 3 to 4 times a week. And, you know, it's not too bad. Because, you know, just like with anything, it can be bad long term if you just overdo things. But if you can find a proper routine where you take it like maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know, you just got to find that right routine for yourself. I usually don't take it on the weekends, but because I did wake up at 5:30 a.m. this morning and, you know, I had a lot of stuff to do today. and I only got like 5 hours of sleep, it was quite necessary for today. So, yeah, modafinil is probably one of my favorite ones that I've taken. I've taken like Vyvanse, Concentra, a few other ones. You know, obviously, I take caffeine, nicotine, but out of all of them, I'd say modafinil is probably one of the most impactful ones. Coffee is basically just like water these days. So you don't really feel much. If anything, it just tastes good drinking coffee. Even the black coffee, just like something about it. It's just quite aesthetic. But in terms of, how do I take this shit off? Because this shit is ugly as hell. Remove. Yes. And it's still here. Ah, I just removed something completely different. All right, there we go. Chat is gone, but we accidentally deleted the display capture. All right, there we go. I've locked out here for a second. What is going on? Ah, there we go. Boom, we're back in business. But like I was saying, modafinil is very good, and I'll quickly go over the routine of how we lay things out in terms of the stimulants. So, quickly, with modafinil, I take it like 3 or 4 times a week, and I have different dosages, different pills to take, and I kind of cycle through them. So we have the modafinil 200 mg, and we can ChatGPT this together. Share my screen here. Order, move up, move to top. Okay, maybe move to bottom. Okay, now it's not even here. Ah, I see. I'm just kind of retarded. All right, now we can see my screen. You guys can see me. We are good to go. That transition. Okay. What can I help with? So let's do some research together because I'm kind of curious for myself. Benefits of 200 mg modafinil. So with modafinil, we're starting off with like the basic one, 200 mg modafinil. First up, it's basically like the Limitless pill. If you guys have seen that movie. Let's see here, Limitless movie edit. This is, okay guys, to preface this, to frame it, this is what modafinil feels like.
After I'd started NZT, I was brokering the biggest merger in corporate history.
Ironically, it's going to be crude. Crude is going to be where we're going to hit them, which yields a prospective profit of 200%. That makes both of us very happy campers. I found that if I maintained an even dose, remembered to eat, drank no alcohol, the blackouts didn't occur. Tom, is it possible to construct an imperceptible compartment? In this jacket? In all of them. Certainly, sir. Safer though my stash now was, I was not sitting around until it ran out.
Well, can I combine these ingredients in the same exact quantity? Yes, but the exact method of delivery to the brain, darts at a dartboard.
Meaning?
Clinical trials, guinea pig people.
That's going to take too long.
That's what it is. Or you'll kill people. But you need 12 to 18 months.
I'll give you $2 million if you can do it in 6.
Wait, where's the there's one that's even better. Hold on, let's see if we can find it. Yeah. This is how modafinil.
What a day. And what I could do with my day was limitless.
All right, so that's modafinil. Okay, that's how it feels. That's basically what life is like. Literally everything is brighter, everything is smoother. Just have a lot more energy, more clarity, little to no distractions as long as you use it properly. It keeps you awake and mentally sharp for 10 to 15 hours, reduces fatigue even if you slept poorly. AKA today I slept 5 hours, I'm natty. And, usually I would be sluggish, sad, depressed, laying in bed, trying to nap. But look at us, we're streaming. We're feeling good. We're feeling great. We went to church. We went to the gym. We ran a mile, ate good food, tanned a little bit, did some grounding. It's been an absolute beautiful day. So it's pretty much used for narcolepsy and shift work and for people with sleep disorders. And many people describe it as being fully awake without feeling wired, which is very important, especially long term. Like you don't want to be completely wired. Oh, it's pouring rain again. But number two is that it improves focus and productivity. Benefits commonly reported are longer deep work sessions, less urges to check phone or procrastinate, better task completion and discipline, as well as more motivation to start difficult tasks that you would just put off until tomorrow, the next day, and you would just keep, staying in the exact same place that you are in life. And that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, aka programmers, traders, and students use it for long work days. So that way you keep doing more and more tasks without really needing a break or needing to chill out or scroll on reels. And then number three, which is very important, is that it gives you a cognitive performance boost. Research suggests that it can improve your working memory, executive function, aka your planning, decision making, so that way you don't choose any wrong decisions. And you only keep choosing good habits that help build you up. So that way, even when you don't take modafinil, you still have these habits and programs and thought wires in your brain that help you keep the momentum going, even when you don't take it. Suggesting that overall, that even if you don't sleep well or you're mentally fatigued from doing so much task, the effect is still very strong. And then number four, which is also absolutely key, especially with stimulants, is that there's a very low crash compared to like Adderall, caffeine, nicotine. There's just less jittery stimulation and a very minimal crash, so that when you do come off like 12 to 14 hours later, you just go back to normal. And there's also a very low dopamine spike compared to Adderall and all these other stimulants that are out there, which leads to it not being addictive. But of course, you can get dedicated to it, which is a good thing, because if you're dedicated to something that's helping you improve in all aspects of life, then how could it be a bad thing? So with many people that take it, they feel stable energy all day instead of peaks and valleys within their energy, which leads them to bad habits and just settling for doing just a minimal amount of work instead of just doing more and more tasks that help them build out their lives. Then last but not least, it helps your mood and motivation level up. Some users notice mild confidence increase going up and talking to that girl, outreaching, whether it be going on a sales call, closing deals, talking to friends, having a good time out, and just having that slight confidence boost helps in all areas of life, as well as more goal-directed thinking, thinking more of your goals instead of just instant pleasures, which is a very good thing. Instead of just thinking, how can I be happy now? You're more thinking, what actions can I take to be happy in the future long term, which is obviously very important. As well as less emotional distraction, like when you're feeling lonely, sad, you feel like you want to call your ex, or maybe you want to go drink to ease the pain. Those things are kind of out of the picture. You're not really thinking of those things while you're on modafinil, which makes it very easy to stay focused on work or learning a new skill that can help you set yourself up for life. But 200 mg obviously has its downside. I haven't really seen the downside, so let's see. Obviously, it's harder to sleep if taken late. Like a few days ago, I took it like at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., which is usually outside of my rules, but I don't even remember why I took it in the first place. But I was up until like 2 or 3 a.m., which is, not quite ideal, especially if I'm waking up at 5:30. So you want to make sure you take it latest at 8 a.m. Anything past that, you're just gonna have to raw dog the day and just use nicotine and caffeine to keep on fighting the good fight. Then, of course, if you combine it with high caffeine or nicotine like I am today, you could experience anxiety or a tight chest. But for me, I got some of that, but guess what? I used it at the gym. I did a very hefty back session / arm day, ran a mile, and I'm feeling pretty good. Appetite suppression, I didn't really see that much appetite suppression, to be honest. I mean, I don't really think about eating, but just because after the gym, I want to get the protein in, especially after destroying my muscles, my legs from the run. So I did crave a little bit of carbs and protein. I had some rice, some chicken, some eggs. Pretty scrumptious meal, all the nutrients that you need. So you don't really crave any junk food. I guess that's maybe not really a downside, it's kind of an upside. But then last but not least, headache or dehydration. That is true. You do need to drink a lot more water than usual while taking modafinil, so that way you don't get a little bit of a tight headache or anything like that. And right now, hydrate maxing. I have some cucumber water, which has some electrolytes. It's not just regular water, which dehydrates you actually. It's water that has some cucumber in it. So hydrating you very slowly but surely. But it really depends on what your goals are. If your situation is just you're working a 9 to 5 or you're homeless or you're living with your parents, modafinil is not really a good idea unless you're learning a new skill, recording content, editing videos, studying, trading, or doing long focused work, high ROI activities. Because if you're just taking modafinil to do low ROI activities, it's just going to be a complete waste of time and your energy and a waste of modafinil. But if you're streaming, maybe, trading, studying for a big exam, which is a very low ROI activity, just might as well raw dog it. So yeah, we're gonna go over. Let's see here. Why modafinil sometimes hurt memory long term. Best to blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's modafinil. Now what I took today was actually not modafinil. It was armodafinil. So let's see what the compare modafinil to 150 mg armodafinil. So, armodafinil. They're extremely similar. Obviously, they're from the same kind of compound, but armodafinil is generally considered slightly stronger and longer lasting than 200 mg modafinil, and I found there's less side effects. Because like with modafinil, you're kind of reaching out there for more and more dopamine. With armodafinil, it's just a much smoother experience and much smoother sailing. It's just like you know what you need to do, you do it, and you don't really crave that extra bit of dopamine. Obviously, armodafinil is slightly stronger, lasts a little bit longer, and takes a little bit longer to kick in. And it is a lot more smoother. It's more like laser focused instead of just kind of out there. Crash rare, stronger insomnia risk. So I took it at like 5:45 a.m., 6 a.m. So obviously it's a very good time to take it because even 15 hours after 5:30 a.m. That's 8:30 p.m., which is perfect. So even at the worst case scenario, it lasts 15 hours. I still go to bed like an hour before I should. So the typical dose range, modafinil 100 to 200, and then armodafinil 75 to 150. My favorite is actually not the 150s. It's not the 200 mg modafinils. It's not the 100 mg modafinils. It's actually the 50 armodafinils, which is these, but just 1/3 of the dose. And this is because you don't really feel that like insane. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like super smooth. You still get the same benefits, but you don't get that amped up, that out of control. Because like with armodafinil, you do get an abundance of energy, and you kind of feel a little bit overwhelmed sometimes. Not in a bad way, but just in a way where you're just like, you kind of want to just, punch your computer sometimes. So with the 50 mg, it's a lot more smoother, a lot more chill, and you still are completely dialed on the task at hand. So it's basically like the active half of modafinil, because modafinil contains two mirror molecules, R plus S, whatever that means. And R-modafinil only contains R isomer, which stays in the body longer, produces more sustained dopamine signaling, and gives longer wakefulness. So blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's basically modafinil, R-modafinil. We kind of covered both of those. And then next up on the list, we have nicotine. So yeah, basically with modafinil, before I go into nicotine, the best time to take it is any time before 8 a.m. Of course, it depends on like when you sleep, when you work. If you're working night shift, Batman hours, whether it be high ticket sales, day trading, or whatever it may be, it really depends on like when you're going to sleep. But the right kind of state of mind and the right plan to use modafinil is 15 to 12 hours before you decide to head to sleep. So let's just say you sleep at 12 a.m. 15 hours before 12 a.m. So 9 a.m. would be the latest for you. But if you go to sleep at 4 a.m., for whatever reason, 1 p.m. would be the latest you should be taking it. So it just depends on when you go to sleep, when you wake up. You need to find a good time for your routine so that way you don't screw over your sleep schedule and get completely wired when you're trying to sleep. Next up on the list, we have nicotine. So right now I'm using White Foxes, which is around 12 to 15 mg of nicotine per snus. So not too strong, not too weak. And I used to I used to use it like recreationally, where I would just take it when I'm going on the bike, after I'm done eating, just kind of in times where you don't really need nicotine. And I was using it the wrong way. And what I found pretty recently, like within the last few weeks, there we go. Yeah, within the last few weeks, I found the best way to use nicotine is when you're working. Like you need to wire nicotine to doing a high ROI activity, because with nicotine, of course, it gives you dopamine from taking it. And if you guys knew or didn't know, you actually get a higher boost of dopamine right before you take snus compared to when you actually take it, which was pretty funny to me. It's like the anticipation is a lot more rewarding than actually taking it, which was kind of funny. So I wire it to like streaming, sales calls, streaming, sales calls, making a YouTube video, making reels, just tasks that help me make more money or grow my personal brand, or just things in general that help me, maybe like learning how to trade, learning a new language, just things that are able to help me level up in life. I'm not taking it anymore when I'm riding the bike, after dinner, when I go to the gym. Like those things is just going to waste the nicotine and probably even hurt your workout. So like for myself, just wiring nicotine and the dopamine to high ROI activities, it's been very great so far, because like I'm looking forward to these activities, because I know with these activities comes a snus. So I'm like rewarding myself for doing these high ROI activities instead of just taking it whenever I want and then never really feeling that reward. So yeah, with nicotine, obviously starting off, you don't want to start off with 12 to 15 mg straight away. You want to maybe start off kind of how I did, with like 2 mg, 4 mg nicotine gum. And then as time goes on, as your tolerance builds, you can either take a nicotine break, like just don't take it for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, and then just hop back on the train. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good feeling. It's just like you're a little bit more wired, you're having more fun, you get that little buzz. It's not too bad. It does give you a little bit of energy as well. It releases some adrenaline. Let's see how it affects the brain. Let's do some research with ChatGPT. Whoop. All right, so benefits of nicotine when paired with high ROI activities. So as ChatGPT loads, we can see that nicotine can temporarily enhance certain cognitive functions, which is why some people pair with high ROI activities like studying, trading, coding, or deep work. The key is that the benefit comes from short-term neurochemical effects, but there are also meaningful downsides, which we will choose to ignore for now. So, how it affects the brain. I'm very curious as well on how it does so. So when you take nicotine, it leads to an increased release of acetylcholine, which affects your attention and learning, as well as your dopamine, aka the motivation and reward chemical, as well as norepinephrine, which is your alertness, the adrenaline, and then glutamate, which is memory and coding, which means you retain a lot more information and you're able to learn a lot quicker. Because of this, short-term effects can include faster reaction time, improved attention span, slight boost in working memory, as well as increased task motivation. These effects are why nicotine has historically been studied as a cognitive enhancer. So why people like myself pair with high ROI activities is because, it's where you focus your attention directly on output, such as trading, chart analysis, coding or technical work, sales calls, making a stream, YouTube video, making reels, studying complex material, long meetings or calls, aka sales calls. And the idea is that nicotine can help you lock in on, with your attention onto a task, as well as reduce mental fatigue during long sessions so that we can do more shit a lot more efficiently, as well as increase task management. So that way, like I'm streaming now, I have to make a reel, maybe go to the beach. Probably not actually. It's pouring rain right now, so that's probably off the cards. That was one of the plans for today. Maybe I'll just go to the sauna. It's Sunday. I'm gonna go drain out all the stimulants and stuff so that way tomorrow I can have a fresh beginning. All right, so these things aren't really trade-offs. Because let's take a look at each one of them after I drink some more water. So obviously you can get dedicated to it, which is not a bad thing. If you're dedicated to doing hard work, I don't see that as a bad thing. Blood pressure increase, whatever. I mean, that's just a myth that high blood pressure is bad, especially if you're going to the gym, eating good food. High blood pressure just means more nutrients is getting pushed through the body a lot quicker, which is not a bad thing. And then vasoconstriction, tight blood vessels. You want your muscles tight, your brain tight, your actions tight. So blood vessels being tight, I don't see that as a bad thing as well. And what you can do to, if you feel tight, I guess maybe you're gay or something. I mean, you can just take 5 mg of Cialis because that opens up and dilates the blood vessels, so that way kind of combats that, and then everything is canceled out. And then the withdrawal that reduces focus when not using that. I mean, if you're gay, that would probably affect you. Anxiety when combined with strong stimulants like high caffeine or modafinil. If you have anxiety, that just means you have too much energy and you just either need to do some jump rope, some push-ups, go to the gym, go for a run, and run off that extra energy and then get back to the main task. That's exactly what I do. Wake up, took a 150 mg of modafinil, felt a little bit anxious, but I went to the gym, did some back, some arms, pet a cat, ran a mile. I felt pretty good. I still feel pretty good now. Probably will do some jump rope after this because after sitting down with all this energy, I just ingested some caffeine, some nicotine. I'm ready to get back on the ropes. So some strategic use of nicotine, just kind of what I do as well, is you can use low doses. Like I said, the nicotine gum 2 to 4 mg starting off, rather than high pouches like this. This comes later on down the line once you level up your tolerance. Just switch over to the snus. And only using nicotine during work-specific sessions would be ideal. You don't want to take it when you're playing video games, when you're driving on bikes, when you're doing meaningless tasks that don't really affect or build up your life in any sort of way. It's just a complete waste of dopamine, and you don't want to use it that way. Avoid constant daily use, like I just said. take days off to reset tolerance and maybe even weeks off. You know, it's always good to just let the gums recover, the teeth recover from nicotine gum, so that we can get back on the wagon later on. So that's obviously nicotine. Caffeine, don't really need to go over that. I mean, everyone should be taking at least 400 mg of caffeine a day. Because let's see here. It's 400 mg of caffeine or more better than no caffeine at all, according to Drew Huberman. I saw this somewhere. I just want to do some research. All right, so maybe not. Maybe I read that wrong. Maybe I just wanted to read what I wanted to hear, you know? All right, so obviously, 0 is baseline, 100 to 200 is good. So today I've drank around 50 plus, probably drank around 200 to 300. I'm still productive, you know, that's good. So yeah, 400 plus, probably not ideal. You know, maybe some days when you need it, but at least 2 to 3 coffees a day is like the bare minimum in order to survive. Interesting. So yeah, we have modafinil, we have nicotine, caffeine, which is pretty easy. And then next up we have like Vyvanse, Concentra, and we'll see how Concentra and Vyvanse. I didn't really like Concentra. Concentra was a little bit, let me think of how to describe it. I popped it and it lasts maybe 6 to 8 hours, not as long as modafinil, but it was just like with modafinil, you can still operate and talk to people socially outside of like the workspace. Like after you're done with work, modafinil, armodafinil, caffeine, nicotine, they're all good things to have socially. But with Concentra, let's just say I was out with my ex at dinner and anything she said, I just got completely pissed off. Like I just wanted to go back to work. So Concentra, it's good if maybe you're alone and there's no one to talk to, no friends, no social events later in the day, and you just want to completely dial in, Concentra may be good. But if you have friends, a girlfriend, or maybe you're going to go party later, it's probably not ideal. So let's see, Concentra. I don't know how to spell what. X and why did I get angry when All right, so let's research some Concentra. Concerta, not Concentra. It's a stimulant medication used for ADHD, and feeling irritable or unusually angry can happen with stimulants, especially depending on the dose, timing, sleep, or other stimulants. So how it stimulates the brain. Let's do some research. It works mainly by blocking the reuptake of dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain, which leads to higher dopamine, motivation, reward / focus, higher norepinephrine, alertness, vigilance, stronger prefrontal cortex activity, which leads to more attention control. And that's why people often feel more focused, more mentally driven, less distractible. But the same systems also control stress and emotional regulation. So why it can cause irritability or anger. My friend Jake took the same thing. We both tried it out on the same day and we both had the same experience. Sometimes it can have too much sympathetic nervous system activation, which increases the fight or flight response. If it goes too high, people can feel easily annoyed, aka me, aka Jake, easily impatient. I was very impatient, emotionally reactive, and this is called stimulant irritability. You don't really have this on modafinil, nicotine, caffeine. I never really found any of these things to happen while I was on those. But yeah, with Concerta, it elevates your dopamine, obviously, which can lead to your brain becoming very goal-oriented. If something interrupts that state, aka a conversation with my ex, distractions, whether it be a grab driver, hopping on a bike, slow situations like traffic in Bangkok, it can create massive frustration or agitation, which is what I experienced for myself. All right, so Concerta, wouldn't recommend that. I don't think it would help you that much, especially if you're like in high ticket sales. You're trying to make friends in a city that you've just moved to for the first time. It's not quite ideal. But Vyvanse is a complete different story. Benefits of Vyvanse compared. So, Vyvanse. Vyvanse is similar to Adderall, but it doesn't have that many bad side effects compared to Adderall. I've never tried it, and I don't think I would unless it was like right in front of me. Then possibly I might just pop it. But Vyvanse, it's a prodrug of dextroamphetamine that strongly increases dopamine and norepinephrine release in the brain, aka it just gets you completely wired and locked in. Armodafinil, on the other hand, mainly blocks dopamine reuptake and promotes wakefulness without the strong amphetamine-like stimulation. So basically, Vyvanse is similar to meth. So if you want a meth max without taking meth, Vyvanse is the way to go. Now, obviously, it's a little bit harder to get your hands on that stuff. It's pretty expensive in the US, but one of my friends, he has an Indian pharmacist who makes it for him. But unfortunately, he's all the way over there in Bangkok, and I'm all the way over here in Koh Samui, so that is kind of out of the picture at the current moment. But both of these drugs can improve focus and productivity, but they work in very different ways in the brain, which leads to very different benefits. Main difference: Vyvanse is a dextroamphetamine that strongly increases dopamine and norepinephrine release in the brain, while armodafinil blocks dopamine reuptake and promotes wakefulness without the strong amphetamine-like stimulation. So the experience is often described as Vyvanse, strong stimulant focus, and armodafinil, which is like wakefulness plus mental clarity. So out of both of these, I'd still recommend armodafinil, just because with Vyvanse, I mean, I did have super strong focus, but armodafinil, you just have that, I don't know, it's like this it factor that Vyvanse is just missing. So if you're looking for more of like a stronger focus type of stimulant, Vyvanse is the way to go. But if you're looking for more motivation and drive, I was going to say armodafinil, but it says here Vyvanse is stronger in terms of like goal-directed behavior, higher task motivation. So maybe if you're looking like in that kind of realm of like looking for more of like goal-directed behavior, higher task management, motivation, increased mental urgency, it says Vyvanse is better, which I thought it was going to be armodafinil, just from my personal experience. Let's look at the, here we go. So focus intensity, Vyvanse is better. Motivation, Vyvanse. Wakefulness, armodafinil. Emotional stimulation, Vyvanse is higher. Addiction risk, Vyvanse is obviously higher because it's like basically meth. Anxiety, higher. Yeah, so with armodafinil, I think maybe that's what I'm referring to in terms of the it factor. You just don't have any anxiety, any crash. With Vyvanse, you do have a bit of a crash. I do remember that. It's just like after it wears off, you just feel like a zombie. You just feel like, you know. So Vyvanse is a powerful productivity, and then armodafinil is a smooth wakefulness enhancer. But other than that, those are pretty much the only stimulants that I take. Haven't really tried anything else. I've tried like lion's mane. I've tried these other like what are they called, like supplements. I've tried other supplements. Creatine is actually really, really good. I've taken like 3 to 5 grams of creatine today. I'm not too sure. And creatine is really, really good, especially when you don't sleep. Like even big doses like 5 to 10 to 15. You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's going to damage your kidney, it's going to damage your liver, but that's absolutely false information. As long as you're drinking enough water, And with creatine, I'm not sure like how it like actually works in the brain, but I just know like I just felt a lot more energy, clarity, motivation, higher test, and it just works in all areas in the gym and work, social interactions, all areas of life. And I'd recommend at least 5 grams a day, 5 to 10, 15. You can even do like 20 grams, but it's just so annoying to drink and ingest all that creatine, whether it be like a smoothie, pill. I take the pill form. Literally ran out this morning, but Rom will be bringing some in about a few hours, so I'll be resupplied very, very soon. And I can go buy some at a supplement shop. But yeah, I mean, other than that, those are pretty much the only supplements and stimulants that I take: coffee, nicotine, creatine, modafinil, and then maybe even shrooms. I don't know if that even counts as a stimulant, but just in terms of like being able to find your goals and to like take a step back from your life to see what you're doing. Is it the right thing, the wrong thing? And you're able to just kind of see yourself on the chessboard and to see if you're moving the right pieces and doing the things that you need to do in order to get to your goals, and if your goals are really aligned with who you are. So that's like the benefits of shrooms, if I could break that down very, very simply. But other than that, I think this is pretty much it for the stream, unless you guys have any questions. Cool, cool. Well, I mean, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. So we're going to keep it very simple, very straightforward for this stream. I'm going to go pee real quick, and then I'll see if you guys have any questions, because I know there's a bit of a lag. So I will be right back. Let me put on some music so that way you guys don't hear me just piss in the air. Let's see. Yo. We are back. I mean, you guys can see the physique. This is modafinil, snus, caffeine. Caffeine and modafinil makes you lean, and lean is law. If you're lean, you become a machine that's able to do anything that you please. It's true. But yeah, other than that, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.